Hello, listener. Welcome to GodMode, a player's guide to life. It's a new podcast I'm putting together. I'm very excited about it. I've been looking for an outlet to share on a mass scale the conversations and the magic that I experience with my friends on a day-to-day basis. I want to bring more people into those conversations. So here's your invitation. Thank you for logging on. Looking forward to seeing where this series goes. I've had the intention to put it together for a long time, and the title came to me recently. So this is GodMode, Player's Guide to Life. And today's guest is Anny Lieberman. Anny Lieberman is a good friend of mine. We met at a self-development program in Los Angeles about 3 years ago. And since then, she has been a friend and also my singing instructor, which you'll hear all about. And, a few things about Anny. Anny is the owner and creator of Everyone Can Sing Studios. She has worked with many legendary artists and producers, including Lenny Kravitz and Quincy Jones. Anny has a degree in music and psychology and is certified in the Werbeck technique, which I hadn't heard of until I met Anny. And it's pretty incredible stuff, pretty wild, a little out there. It's fun stuff. Anny believes singing makes people happy, and happy people make a better world. So she wants to live in a better world, and she's excited to teach you how to sing to get there. Currently, she's teaching privately and is the music director at Threefold Village here in LA. And you can find her at her website, everyonecansing.la. Now, that's a great motto. It's a motto that I've needed to hold on to for a long time to get over all my anxieties around letting my voice through and really enjoying myself and doing this thing that I knew I loved doing, even if almost everyone else I knew was asking me to shut up. So without further ado, enjoy the podcast. Be sure to find a way to comment if you want to engage. I would love to hear what you have to say. You'll be able to find this podcast on YouTube primarily. I expect to be publishing to Instagram and to Spotify, and learning as I go and spreading our reach as I go. But without further ado, welcome to the game, and type in that cheat code, God mode, turned on. Let's rock. Let's roll. Enjoy the podcast. Let's do this. Perfect. And that's it. And now you can ask me any questions you want, and we're off to the races.
Okay, cool. Well, hello, I'm Anny Lieberman. No, just kidding.
She goes straight into it.
I go straight
I know
into
who
it.
you are. Let's rock.
So,
Incredible.
what I wanted to ask you was, with regards to your podcast, like what are you about, and who's your audience, and who do you want to talk to?
Well, great question. Let's nail these down. So far my working title is God Mode, a player's guide to life, which suggests that my audience is going to at least a little bit be hip to nerd culture and video game space. So, I'm speaking a little bit in that nerdy, kind of giving myself up as a little bit of a nerd there, which I love. But the truth is I'm speaking to people who are ready to go. People who have things that they want, big or small, and they are looking for the way to become and acquire that which they desire and want. And I think that is that pretty much sums it up.
Okay.
Those are the people I'm speaking to. Any age, really, any proficiency, any background, but they need to be open because we're going to be playing, and we're going to be doing a lot of cross paradigm, map building. And yeah, I think, the key feature of the people who are listening, or who I should say I'm speaking to, is I'm going to be speaking to the crowd that's ready. I'm speaking to the Noahs of, like, when, the 21-year-old, 18-year-old, 16-year-old, 13-year-old Noahs. we'll keep them teenagers and up, which means they can hear about sex and curse words, you know? So yeah, that's the group, but it specifically is about people who are ready. I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything. I have no interest in convincing anyone of anything. I do imagine that there are certain things like astrology and things like that, which I have built pretty cool little bridges. So if you're somebody who's like sort of a rationalist, maybe you're ready, like I was. Okay. I mean, I didn't do my first astrology reading until I was like 24, and I gave it to myself as a birthday gift. And even then I thought it was insanely expensive. I spent like $100 on it, but now looking back, I really understand. It just makes sense. And actually it was fucking awesome. It paid dividends right away. So even when I had no idea what was going on, it still, was cool. Anyway, so I have bridges for rationalists, essentially. So for like the person who thinks that the world's an inanimate rock, I have bridges to get them out of that, to get them open,
Okay.
that's it. Other than those bridges from like the rationalist to the open, I'm not really interested in converting anyone to any kind of concept. Everybody gets to come to me ready to go and excited, and that's what it is.
So, okay. So let me let me see if I heard you correctly. So you are looking for like-minded people to share in this paradigm of God-minded, magic-minded, oriented bridge. It's like this bridge into what your audience is looking for, and it could be anything.
Yeah.
So it's inviting people into a mindset that you're facilitating.
Yeah. Mindset, and also sort of like living discussion. Like, Joseph Campbell has this awesome quote about something along the lines of like, we're all human. And I'm butchering it, so don't worry about it, but it's the essence of the message. We're all human. You don't, the path has been trekked 1,000 times before you. You don't need to go at it alone. You don't need to go at it alone, and you don't need to pretend that there's no, no one's been there before, and that, it's like, guys, let's, hey, breathe in, breathe out. Come on, 100,000 years of human evolution. I think we can figure this one out. Not only that, but it's been written about in tract history for 5,000 years. And that's not including whatever the hell oral traditions passed down a lot of these methods and notice moments, right? Like all of these awarenesses could have existed long before even 5,000 years ago. So it's like, let's stop ignoring them, and let's start incorporating them.
Okay. Wow, it's such a vast subject matter, and to hone into the details, I think, is what unfolds in each of your podcasts. So, what topic you could go in? You could like go podcast 2024 with that kind of vast, right, subject.
Right.
So, if you were to pick a topic, one topic, what would it be?
Okay. It's funny because I got two competing parts of me. I want to address something that you said earlier, but I also want to answer your question.
Sure.
Which should I do first? Which one should I do first?
Do eeny, meeny, miny, mo, because I don't.
Okay. So we're going to hold the question, which topic would I pick? We're going to hold that for a second.
Okay.
Come right back to it. And I want to say that it was really cool how when you reflected back to me what I was saying, I imagine you don't play many video games?
No, I don't.
Okay. So I loved it because I'm not trying to only target video game people, but you seem to have gotten the flavor of it anyway. And you got almost the truest flavor, which is the idea, like, let's be in divine mode, right? Like, let's be in that divine space, God, nature, etc. But what's
Hmm.
cool is for a gamer who doesn't necessarily believe in God, God mode is a common phrase for either when you put in a cheat code, which is literally called God mode across multiple, like almost every game, where your player doesn't take damage anymore. If you need more ammunition, you get free ammunition. If you need a special gun, you get the special gun. Basically, God mode is I want, I have, I want, I have, I want, I have. Oh, I want to be this thing. I'm going to be this thing right now. Oh, I want to go there. I can be there right now. So that's God mode in video games. You can either get to God mode in a video game by typing in a cheat, which is fair play for real life as well. And you can get to God mode by building your character to the point where your character is so far superior in not I don't want to use that word. That's a dangerous word. Your character is so adept in the world of the game that
Hmm.
it moves through the world of the game with grace and ease. Boom, so much better than the word superior. I did much better than the word superior. So so that's that. So I just want to say I love that. Thanks for reflecting that back to me
Hmm.
because I am not trying to only get gamer people, and we just hit that right on the head.
Awesome. Okay.
Answering your question, pick a topic, any topic. Well, here's I have no idea how this thing unfolds. I think that's part of the scary bit. You know what I mean? I think that it's going to be guest driven. So I want to be in conversation with people on the podcast. You know, I whatever. That's just the kind of podcast I want to make. And so, you know, if you and I were talking, which we're talking right now, then I would probably say, you know, oh, I guess we're going to be exploring singing. And it's so funny because you're the perfect use case. You're the perfect example. Oh, Annie, what's the name of your singing place? Everybody can sing. Wow, what an interesting name you've chosen of all the names in existence. You chose this one, right? So then we get into it, and I imagine we'll talk about all kinds of stuff,
Yep.
technique, how
Yep.
we got started. You know, you have an incredible story. I have a cool story. uh, and my you know, I mean, at least my, you know, I don't know. Point being, the story I have relates to so many people who were told that they can't sing and that they want to sing anyway, and da 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 da. So in that regard, we make magic together on a podcast because all we got to do is talk about all of that, and
Yeah.
that's the rub. Now, might I throw in some crazy Kabbalistic shit along the way? Maybe. Might I toss in a little alchemy, a little new thought, a little MITT juice and flavor? Maybe. Why not? I mean, you're going to get that with me anywhere at this point these days. We can't have In and Out without me thinking about some cosmic shit. So that's just what's going to happen.
That's why I love you, Noah.
Good. Okay. I'm glad. I'm glad. If it wasn't, we'd be in trouble.
Yeah, no, that's what makes you Noah. Seriously. So that's very cool. Okay, that really answered that question because I no, I don't. I'm not a gamer, and I don't know the terminology. So for you to grab a wider audience, um, in a just in a way without having any preconceived anything about what this is about. Yes, that struck me as a divine inspired conversation um, with people that hold a very interesting perspective on life. They may be business owners that have a unique business. They could be gamers that hold like a really interesting perspective in life. So yeah, that's my take on that. I thought of it as like, okay, this could be really cool. God mode. And what does that mean in life? So
I love it.
yeah, so I love that. I didn't know anything about that.
Uh huh. That's awesome.
I do love that. So okay, so let's talk about um, since I since you brought up my business and the studio. You've been coming to see me for a little bit now, and I'm really walking you through a process that I call the four rooms.
Uh huh.
Okay,
Right.
so the four rooms, which I'll describe. So let's see. The first room. is, hold on, I'm going to look at my notes. So I'm saying this in a way that I've prepared myself for. Okay. So the
This is a
4 room.
concept that you've come up with?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I love this. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
I
Yeah.
have come up with this process because I have witnessed hundreds of people walk through this process and all have
Mm.
really great results. And I want to bottle this now.
Sweet. Yep. Yep. Love that.
So, what it is it's a 2-level process, and there's 4 rooms. So the first level has 2 rooms, the second level has 2 rooms. So the first level, you come on in and it's basically a beginner level kind of thing. You come in and I call it the inner joy. It's like this is the ask. I'm asking about my voice, and I've always wanted to sing, and people have told me either I can't sing or I just don't know if I can, or so it's a joyful type of, you know, I just don't know, but I want to try it kind of
It's like a
room.
blank slate packed with curiosity.
Yes, 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 absolutely. So you learn in that room, your mechanism, your voice box, your vocal cords. You discover your range. You discover your ear. Um, we do breath work, some diaphragm work, beginning placement, and that's where this technique that we've been working on, Verbeck, comes into play. So you start learning how to put the sounds in your resonators in your face. So you've got your nose, you've got your forehead and your ears, and then we work through various exercises to get you aware of that. And the technique is about going inward. So you're noticing from inside of your body where the sounds are, as opposed to um, singing lessons that are outward and you're listening with your ear to your voice outside of you. And that in the very beginning can be a little intimidating for some people. They have a hard time even like singing loud. Like if they come to me and they want to sing, they usually sing like right here. They don't even want to hear their voices yet. So that's like that first room. And I call that the curiosity and play. Like you said, it's like we're just going to play. I just want to hear, give me what you got. I'm not going to push you into anything, you know. So
Yes.
we've definitely done that, right? And then the second room, still the same level, I call that room getting what you asked for. So first room, you're like, I'm asking this. The second room is getting what you've asked for. And so that room, I teach you how to hear. And so that's what's happening to you now. And we are definitely going through this process of Verbeck, which is a technique that I'm certified in a 5-year process of really understanding the mechanism of the tongue, the throat, the diaphragm, how sounds really can become warmer through using the whole mechanism as opposed to just your throat. So you're
That's
learning.
so awesome. Yeah, I saw a
Yeah.
great YouTube video on it, and the guy was adorable. It was great.
Oh, yeah. So you're now starting to hold the tones fully. You're really holding your tones fully. Your technical training is starting to, with regards to the words, like we're talking about vibrato now. We're talking
Right.
about voice. We're talking about chest voice. We're starting to really understand terminology. Okay. And then we're doing lyric analysis, right? Where
Did
you
you
look
say lyric?
lyric analysis, where you're looking
Right.
at the
Makes sense. Yep.
songs, right? And your vowels are opening up. So we started with a lot of tones that were more well, this is the basis of the Verbeck. It's all consonants. So you were singing with M's and with N sounds and L sounds. Those are all consonants,
Right.
right? So now we're moving into the vowels, opening up the vowel sounds, and then we're working with your emotion. So I'm getting you starting to feel what that feels like, and you're getting comfortable expressing that and getting really um, comfortable with it, I should say, because when we come to this place in this second room, there needs to be um, the experience of vulnerability for you to allow yourself to feel the emotions of the songs and the lyrics. So I think that's what I'm seeing happening.
Yes, I love that.
Right.
Right.
So then now we're moving into the second level, which is the third room, which
Oh, right.
where
Gotcha.
you're about to go. You're about to go there.
Got it. Yep.
So that third room is actual building of your confidence in such a way that we use the tools of the studio. So you're going to be on stage. You're going to bring the mic on stage. You're going to feel the difference of what it's like to just sing into a microphone and then get on a stage and sing into a microphone. Very, very different.
Damn. Yeah.
So that in itself will be another level of you going into a deeper experience with your voice and
Right.
confidence behind that. So I called the third room inspiration and resonance, because you're inspiring yourself. You constantly are inspiring yourself, which builds the confidence that's building the confidence. Okay. And
Yep.
then the fourth room will be an actual performance, be
Right.
it your own self at a karaoke bar or at a recital or doing something where people are actually involved watching you.
Oh my
And
God, it's so fun. Yeah.
transformation.
Scary as all hell. Yep. Yeah,
Right?
totally.
But we're going to build to that. We're going to build to that before you get there.
I think a good word for stage three, stage or room three, is embodiment.
Okay, I like that.
Where you're putting on the future you, the one that's going to be on stage. You're putting it on. You're embodying it in a sort of safe space.
Okay.
It's funny, actually, in coding, we actually call that a staging. It's a staging space.
Staging.
So as it turns out that, staging, you're literally staging it.
You're literally on stage.
Yeah, totally. That's so wild. That's funny.
So I love that you actually have walked through and experienced the up until now these two first rooms. And what would you say your experience is, Noah? Like when we first started working, and then the growth that's happened from, if we're going to use the room analogy, from the first room to the second room, what's happening with you and your being? Let's go into God mode here. What is going on with your being?
Yes. Yeah. So give me some like the headliners for room 2 again. What are the like top titles of room 2?
Okay, so room 2 is getting what
emotion.
Emotion and getting what you ask for. Learning to hear.
Yes, got it. Okay. So now you're saying, now ask the question, please, because I can hear it now from that.
Great. So the question is, what is your experience in each of these rooms? And we can go backwards. So let's start in room 2. What is your feelings about your growth thus far, going backwards?
Okay, so this is fun. So the first thing that came up right away was room 2 is the most embarrassing, which is not true, because obviously room 4 would be the most embarrassing. But I think I guess the whole thing can be pretty embarrassing. But it's what you said. Now it's coming back to me about the vulnerability, because I haven't been in an acting room since I've done all this personal development work. But I remember what it was like to be in an acting room, and I remember how stiff everybody was, and I remember how that stiffness informed the performance. Then we all ended up getting yelled at by our acting teachers. So when you're not stiff, you're letting it ride, and you might still get yelled at by your acting teacher, and it's going to hurt more because you're not stiff. You see, that's why we get stiff to begin with. And I feel like it's very much the same about room 2. God damn, how it's like worse. It hurts more to fail when you're feeling it and you're in the groove, and you're like, you lose yourself in it for 2.5 minutes. Then you listen back to the recording and you're like, oh God, I suck. or like I totally fucked up that part. It's like, there's a real, that sort of like disparity between, oh, I've got a little bit of technical ability under my belt. Let me now, release into the emotional aspect of it. Yeah, it's all fun while you're doing it. Then when judgment comes back into play, then it gets a little intense. But what's interesting also, and back when I was very much a lot more robotic, this was a huge wake up moment for me, which was, it's one thing to say that whether or not you're smiling affects your sound. That's pretty obvious, physical.
Mm-hmm.
But when you kind of realize what's implied by that, which is basically like how you're feeling is going to affect your sound, and if you're trying to act while you're singing, then your face is going to be in certain shapes that are going to affect your sound.
Yeah, this is
So
good.
like that's cool from a creator perspective. Like, oh, I'm the singer, I'm creating the sound, I need to know that. But then from a reverse engineering hearing perspective, you start to realize, oh shit, all the people I admire, they're not out there just doing some technical thing. They are feeling something, and that is booming out of their face, which is something I didn't really like. I knew, but I didn't know. I didn't realize it was, part of the sound. I didn't realize it was like it was gonna like be in the vinyl. I thought it was like subjective. I didn't realize there was objectivity to it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So how do I feel now stepping into it? I feel great, given the song that we've been doing. What is it? You'll Be Back. How I feel. I feel sassy and diabolical. Yeah, but it's also funny because suddenly it does feel like a leap closer to what I signed up for. So it's funny that you're saying now you're getting what you asked for, because it's like, oh yeah, I did sign up to be playful and to really feel it and get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas for years I sang super mechanically, like so mechanically, and it was only like it was pass fail. Nothing else mattered. It was just like, did I do it right? And that's kind of ridiculous. Does Eminem do it right? Like, how do you
What I
compare
love
Eminem
about what
to?
you're saying, what I love about you're saying is that you're saying mechanical because you and many people do not know the difference between mechanical singing and feeling. I would have to say singing for me is like crying. It's like yelling. It's when I'm angry. It's happy. It's when I just want to, party. Like I have used singing to really
Damn, it's fun.
yeah, help me, like help get to that place of release and finding my humanity. Like that to me is why I sing. And I believe I'm so passionate about this because I want everyone to connect to their humanity. We've become so robotic, we don't even know. Um, and the release that comes with that and connecting to your heart, your spirit, your authentic self, your higher self. Um, man, talk about a quick way to get there
Yep.
singing.
Well, I'll tell you something cool. Little God mode, Noah's Player's Guide to Life moment. There's a book called The Tao Made Easy. It's fantastic. And he references another book from that book. Basically, he references an African tribe, and I think it's a tribe in Africa. And what happens is when the woman gets pregnant and while the baby is in the womb, the tribe comes together and starts to feel into what that baby's song is. What is the child's song? So together, this entire tribe, kind of like in a spiritual ritual, downloads what this child's song is, and after a while, they end up all singing it, and they get it, and then once they got it, they know this is the child's song. This is the child's song.
Oh.
So they sing it. They sing it to the child while it's in the womb. The village comes together, sings it while the child's being born. They sing it at every major event in the child's life. Like, so at initiation or like marriage or whatever that is, looks like for them, they sing it. And here's the key. Here's the big one. When someone commits a crime in the tribe, so does something, steals or violates someone or is aggressive or whatever, there's no jail. The tribe basically like puts the person in the center of the tribe, and the entire tribe sings them their song until they fucking get it.
Oh my
And they're like, this is not who you are. Like, we're going to remind you who you are right now.
Damn.
And that's how they get people. That's how they handle crime.
Oh my God.
And also sinning, I guess, if you want to, cross the barriers there. But crime and sinning, that's how they do it.
I've never heard that before, and that makes all the world of sense.
I know.
Like,
Yeah,
do
you
you
can feel
remember who you
that.
are? You are not this. You are this, Neo.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. So
Yeah, that hit you hard. That was fun. You went on
that
a
is
ride.
what I do. That is
Yeah, totally.
and you are finding your Neo.
Of course. In my
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah.
The voice part of my Neo, yeah.
Hello, yes.
For the gamers out there, there's a game called Skyrim, and the main character is the Dragonborn. And the whole game is surrounded around his shouts. So he says like different things in a Nordic language, and effects occur. So, fire might come, or like just force comes or whatever. And so I think of it that way. This is like the Neo, the voice, the shouts. I'm learning the shouts.
Yeah, wow. Gosh, that did something. I mean, now I'm really processing that. Because I got to be honest with you, I look at my life and I go, why am I here? Like, what am I doing with my life? Is it really, am I really doing what I need to be doing right now? Uh,
Mm,
should I be making more money? Should I be, I mean, so that's the $1 million question.
no
But
shit.
I know that my heart is calling me to do this work because of how much joy I get out of it. I just get
That's so
so
cool.
much out of it. So yeah, I really appreciate us doing this because this is so important to help me realize my Neo. It's like this is what I'm supposed to do, people. I know I'm supposed to do this. you know
Yes.
so
Yes.
sharing it, and you're helping me bring out my voice too in this platform, and I think this is awesome, and we must keep doing this.
Yeah. To quote Morpheus, she is beginning to believe.
Yes, thank you, Noah. Very good.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is great.
So yeah, that's my experience of the second room.
Okay. So then, okay, let's go to the first room.
Okay.
How did that begin for you, or how did that feel to you?
Mm-mm. Miserable. Literally the worst. So, at least for me, God, I don't even like, I mean, you go all the way back to me being a kid and being told I can't sing and stop, cut that out. It's annoying. And
Mhm.
then, you get me as a teenager and I'm like fiddling with the guitar and I'm trying to sing. And, as source, that's one way. So in terms of manifestation, let's call it that. Go figure. The kid who thought he couldn't sing didn't until he was sick one day in his room. He had a cold. That's me. I was playing the guitar and singing with a cold. This was the only time that I paused enough to record myself. And that became the benchmark. So if you ever wanted evidence that you suck at singing, record yourself when you have a cold and no other time doing one song, and then let that be the thing that you share with people, that they laugh at you for, and they pass around and share so that they can all laugh at you because of how bad you are, and let that define you. If you really want to dick yourself over with your limiting beliefs, right? Do that. which is what I did. So that didn't work out for me very well at all.
But you know
And
what?
that's,
You know what,
tell me,
Noah? What that says to
what?
me is
Yes,
that you wanted to be right.
of course. Yes, don't we all?
So you wanted to say and validate, I suck. So here, I'm going to show you how bad I suck.
That's true on an
That's how
unconscious
smart you
level.
are.
That's true on an, yeah, that's true on an unconscious level. But on a conscious level, I'm the kid who's like, oh, I'm so excited and curious. And so when I get hit by the freight train that I sent myself, it doesn't look like I sent it to myself. So it sucked for years before I realized, oh, it's me. I'm doing this. You
Yeah.
know, keyword responsibility. But anyway, so what happens? Okay, so now around that time, I I can't even imagine what got into me, but I wanted to sing. And so I somehow signed up at my high school to go sing. And it was pretty fun, but we were doing Italian crap. And I wasn't really into it, obviously. There was also like very, very little to no mechanical like discussion whatsoever. It was just like straight into like singing Italian stuff. So that was weird, especially
Yeah.
since I was very like analytical and robotic. Um, anyway, did that for a while. That was the beginning of room one. It was kind of fun, but I would only do it in a back room where no one could hear me. And I didn't do it for very long because parents felt like it wasn't a very good investment, I suppose, and maybe I agreed. And so, yeah, it wasn't until I went to college where at some point I was getting my music minor. I ended up back in a singing course. Fun fact, I did not do great in college. It was a miserable experience for me, but the only class I ever failed was singing. So literally, I show up to the final exam. I've been enthusiastic and doing all the homework and practicing and getting yelled at by my roommates through the wall with people banging on my wall. And at the final day, when I go to perform, mind you, he said early on that he was going to host a workshop for everyone. Never happened. Never taught anyone how to sing. Just assumed that they would be able to. I go up to do my final exam. I give it my best shot. He fails me with an F. And then he says that if I pay him, I can get lessons for a semester. And if I do well enough, he can change my grade at the end of the next semester.
What an asshole.
So literal
Oh,
extortion
Emma.
literally happened in my life. So what happens? I'm like, I just wanted to fucking sing. Fuck you, and I'm gonna pay you. So let's go. So I did pay him, and I started getting lessons from this guy. Didn't really learn anything with him either, other than I got to sing in the biggest church at Boston College, which is a Jesuit school, and I would do it by myself, but it was fucking cool, right? So that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
While it lasted. At the end of the semester, he changed my grade. Whoop-de-doo, Basil. So anyway, so that was room one. That was like, I don't even know what the hell that was. That was like a little bit of room two because it was kind of like, yeah, we don't have any mechanics, so just feel it, vibe, really. But
Lit
it was
by.
it was an unsupported room two. It was like a room two I shouldn't have been in yet.
Yeah.
So that was that. And then I moved out here and I started working with one teacher who I really liked, but she was also kind of a room two teacher. With a little bit of room one. She gave me a little room one.
Mm-hmm.
But then I found Julie, who was my next teacher. And Julie is a room one Morpheus monstrous master. The woman has singing to a science. And it's great because for an automaton like me, that was what I wanted. It was music to my ears. And so I worked with her, and with her, or actually, I guess with the one before her, Leia, I could say, hey, I don't get, like you say, sing out of your forehead. That doesn't make any sense to me. I've been hearing that for years. It doesn't make any sense to me. Or like sing from your stomach. I'm like, well, my lungs are in my chest, so that doesn't make any sense to me either. So I was able to like joke with them and play and get some good answers back. Like Julie literally showed me like human anatomy. Like she would show like the like cross section. If you want to win over Noah, pull out a freaking anatomy chart. All right, listen, Rob, this is what we're doing here. And I kind of want to go grab it. I'm gonna go grab it. She packed me up with a bunch of these fucking asthma machines.
I know, my
Right? Like I bought like 4 of these, and I love it because it's like I can measure my progress. You know what I mean? And like I can suffer well, I can like suffer. I can and I'll know like, oh, I haven't been doing it enough. But anyway, so all of that was really good, and you and I both know that that's where I leapt forward there in a mechanical sense.
Yes,
But
you
it
did.
was also no fun. It was like barely any fun. It was like 99%. Like what I was getting off on in that class was knowing finally that even if I had to do no fun for 3 years, I was going to be good. Like I could sacrifice fun because I knew I was going to be good. Like I was like, there's no way around it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
But then I went to MITT and I did personal development and went back to her. And just by going back, she was like, what the hell have you been doing? Like, how are you so much better? I don't understand. What I like leapt forward apparently in quality. And I literally remember standing there and just being like, oh, I'm not sweating and shaking anymore. Like I'm not judging. I literally said something like, I am no longer judging the sound that comes out of my mouth 1 second at a time. I like have space now. I give, here's some space, fill the space. We can judge it later. I don't need to judge it in real time, you know?
Yes.
So
Mm.
anyway, that alone freed me up,
Mm.
considerably. And one thing led to another. She ended up on a Broadway show, and then you and I started working together.
Mm-hmm.
And with you recently, especially, I said, what did I say
What did you say? You said a lot of stuff.
about playing?
Oh,
When
you
I walked
said,
into your
I
bedroom,
just
I was like,
want
look,
to play. I just
yes.
want to play.
I was like, I just want to play. I was like, look, I've done the 98% mechanics, 2% playing. I want 98% playing, 2% mechanics. Because I had noticed in the years that I hadn't practiced, in the last 2 years, that when I sang, sometimes it would be incredible. And I'd be like, whoa, how did I do that so well? And then sometimes it would be awful. And I realized that the only way I could really feel it out was to just play and to just see what came out of my mouth.
And when you're playing, I would say there's no judgment.
Nope. Of course not. Right.
When you're playing, you're relaxed.
You're allowed to make mistakes, by the way. So even if you do judge that you made a mistake,
You're
you're
allowed.
allowed. You're playing.
That's right. And it's so
Which kind of, yeah,
important. That's
it
so
kind of feels like
important to do
what you
that.
do right now.
Say again?
It feels like the trick that we used to get this podcast rolling.
Yes.
That's the same
Yeah.
trick.
Same
We're not
trick.
doing it. We're playing.
We're just playing, you guys.
We're just playing.
This isn't for real.
Yeah. So I guess you're a gamer after all.
I guess so. Yeah, who knew?
I love that.
Who knew?
All right. So wait, what were you going to say about playing?
I was
Oh, it's
saying
so important.
it's so important to play because of the non-judgmental aspect to it. By the way, when we're in judgment, we are shutting down. We are shutting down our. We're shutting down because I think
That's, yeah.
when judgment happens, right, we shut down. What shuts down? Let's look at the anatomy for a second. We're shutting down, and because we're moving into either fight or flight, or there's the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system, right? Okay. Do you know the difference of the two?
I did at one point. Please remind me.
Okay, so I believe the parasympathetic is the fight or flight mode. Okay, and then the sympathetic is when it's not fight or flight.
Got it.
I try to get myself when I'm going to sing in a sympathetic nervous system mode because
Yeah, for sure.
when I'm not tight, okay, when the muscles are tight, it's like when you're singing through tight muscles, when you're running through tight muscles, when you're exercising, you just got out, off of the couch and you go and run a 5K. Do you think your body's going to like that?
No.
No, you're actually damaging your muscles, right? You're tearing yourself up. So to sing with tight muscles, that's how a lot of people get nodes. That's how a
Right.
lot of people injure themselves. So we try to create this play thing because we want to relax, right? We need to relax. And when we go into this verbeck thing,
Mm.
you're really relaxing and you're yawning even, you're allowing yourself to just go inward and get to that place of relaxation. And then we sing.
Yeah, you're gonna have to make a video about that because that's so good.
Yeah,
That's
you're right.
so good. I feel
Yeah,
so good every time we do that. It's the best.
it is the best.
Um,
It is the
yeah.
best. I feel relaxed and energized at the same
Oh
time,
my God. Yeah. No, it's
right?
amazing. It's the
It's
bomb.
crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I will do that. I will make a video on that. We'll
you
do that next
should. Yeah. Let
time.
me think. Um, play. I had something to share, but I didn't want to stop you.
Oh, go ahead. Think about it.
Oh man. Give me some crumbs of like what you were just saying again.
Okay, so then when we are in play mode with the parasympathetic versus the sympathetic nervous system, I
Got
try
it. Got it. Got it.
to
Thank you.
go.
Perfect.
Okay,
That's
go
what I
ahead.
needed. So tension, you know, not only is it can you prone to injury when you're tense, but also you wouldn't just the way you tune a guitar is not tightening all the strings until they can't be tightened anymore. And the way you tune a piano is not tightening all the strings until they can't be tightened anymore. You wouldn't be able to get dynamic sound if that was the case. So right there in the most concrete sense possible in instruments, you need varying degrees of tension and some need to be more relaxed than others. So,
Yeah.
to get the sounds that you're looking for.
Yes.
So that's another way that tension needs to be variable. It cannot be, omnipresent during your attempts at performing. So that was one of the big ones. And then fight or flight and judgment. Oh, I was thinking this too. This is kind of a cool little thing that occurred to me, which is, that back here I have the tree of life, which we won't get into in detail right now, but it's from Kabbalah.
Okay.
And some alchemy and hermeticists can use it as well. It's super useful. It's like a map of consciousness, if nothing else.
Cool.
One of the nodes is Binah, and Binah is, long story short, you have like death and then the scythe, the symbolic scythe of death, right? Which separates the wheat from the chaff. Well, that is also the sphere of judgment. And the idea, the tool that is judgment, the reason for judgment, not that judgment's bad, but the reason for it is you want to judge, oh, this is the dead part. This is the part that we don't need. Cut it off of the good part. Now what do you end up with? All the good part, and all the crap you don't need gets to be recycled and, gone. You don't need it. That's what judgment's for. So what's interesting, what occurred to me while we were talking about that fear state where you're just judging everything that comes out of your mouth is it's kind of arrogant. Like, you're not an expert. How are you going to know what to cut off that's bad and what to leave that's good? Right? So
Yeah.
maybe you should stop. And I remember Julie telling me, like, I don't need you. She would say to me, I don't need you listening to yourself. I'm listening to you and I know what I'm doing. So I will tell you what you need to do. You don't need to listen to yourself. Like you don't even, she was like, I don't even need you to listen to the sound that's coming out of your voice. Like, you just do it and I'll tell you your feedback. I'll give you the feedback,
Yeah.
And I think that's true. It's like you need a master to be able to tell you what to cut and what to leave. So for us to be doing it constantly is like a fallacy. It doesn't even make sense. And for a guy who was rational and like a robot, I think it would have been a fun little sort of like an entanglement, like a trap, like a riddle. If somebody would have said to me, that judging thing you're doing, you think you're good at it? Because you're not. You're not good at it. So why are you doing it? That would have been like, oh shit. I was doing it because I thought that if I did it, I'd be better. If I could judge it, then I could tune and be better. No, you can't. You don't know. You're not the master yet. When you're the master, come back and then you can judge yourself.
Wow, this is
Then
deep.
you can do that.
This
right?
is deep.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, this is really great. This is great.
Right.
Because you've now taken a full circle, God mode, to bring in this judgment perspective from a Kabbalah standpoint. I love
it's
it.
just something we all struggle with.
Mm-hmm. We do, and when we when we're not aware that we're doing it, we shut down. And the moment we become aware, oh, I'm judging myself right now, I'm shutting down, that's when we can make a shift. And
Totally.
so, and doesn't that go in all areas of life? It's like,
It does. And isn't it funny? Because if you do shut down as a result of judgment, then clearly you cut off some good stuff, right? Like, isn't that like the immediate feedback? Like now you're miserable and you're
yeah,
like, don't want to do it anymore. Like
yes.
you've obviously just cut too much out. You're not even going to the gym. You're not even doing the thing. You're not even painting. You're not playing the game anymore to get good at it. You're just done.
Right.
Obviously you cut too much. You killed the patient. You went in to do some surgery. You accidentally killed the patient.
You accidentally murdered the patient.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go back to a previous save and let's not do that. Let's keep playing. Totally. I love that. That's so good.
Stay in the game. Stay in the game.
You got to stay in the game.
We get to stay in the game.
You got to stay in the game.
Because it's a game. It's fun.
It is. It is.
Okay.
And you never know what you're going to find. You just don't. And you know what's cool? This also going back to Kabbalah, and we're not going to get into it here, but it's the idea of leaving room for miracles or leaving room for magic. Don't think you know everything, because if you do, you're not leaving space for those leaps forward, for those eureka moments, where the guy gets out of the bathtub and runs naked through the streets of Greece. Like, you want that. You don't want necessarily to take the long road up the mountain. If you can suddenly have this moment where you're singing one day and you get it in a way you didn't get it before and it changes you, that's something you want. So if you're just sitting there with your blinders on, convinced that it's got to be hard and that it's never going to happen, blah, 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 then you're not leaving space for the little miracles. And that moment where I went to my incredibly masterful teacher and she told me that I was measurably better and I told her I haven't practiced at all. And it was literally only because of some time effectiveness training program that taught me to be a little bit more emotionally intelligent. That's a little miracle. That's a little miracle. Suddenly I'm great at singing because of this other thing I did that had nothing to do with singing. That's a miracle.
That's a little
anyway,
miracle.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
wow.
You don't leave room for that.
Wow. I think we have a workbook here.
Might you say we have a player's guide to singing?
We have a player's
guide. I think we did our job.
I love it. I love it. Seriously, the way that you're putting your take on this and what I'm hearing, and then what I'm like hearing what you say, this is pretty cool.
Cross-pollination.
We have a lot of good stuff here.
Yeah.
And I feel authentic.
Of course.
Even with this dang light behind me, I was like,
I'll tell you why. We never started. Also, that light is like divinity.
Oh,
like the sun. Boop. I'll tell you what that light is. That light is that top node right here on my tree. That's the light. That's exactly what
I like it. Whoa.
Look at you. Now you're getting the symbol.
Okay, I am. Dude, okay. I just right. So, what's interesting? I'm going to show. One day I will show you. I'll bring it to the studio. But I did a self-portrait in my early 20s. No, mid-20s. And I was singing at the time. And the self-portrait is of me. Okay, so I don't know. I can't really remember what inspired me to do it. I just was like really depressed. But in painting this thing, I had this like light around my head, just kind of like those Catholic type of saint.
Totally, that's a symbol. Yeah, 100%.
So I painted one of those of myself, and I was like, what possessed me to do that? But I look back, and I will bring it one day, and you'll see, and you're going to go, whoa. I think what really possessed me at the time was that I knew that that divinity, like my higher self, was present no matter what I felt. So in doing this work, that is the guide. Like I want us to tap into that place.
That's the top part of my tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Totally.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I've got light. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to show this, but I got light beams. So there's actually little light rays.
Oh no, you never show.
So it's literally shining. That's good stuff.
That's
Well, you know
awesome.
what's funny is I didn't even notice the light as a sort of distraction. So there's nothing to be upset about. I mean, I didn't notice it at all this entire time. And then when I did notice it, I was like, oh, divinity. Awesome. It was like a bonus.
It's quite fitting.
It's also funny because it feels like the light went off in your head. We went bing. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is great. Well, we can wrap it up now. I feel like we have explored this part of our podcast, so to speak,
Totally.
with regards to the rooms, and then knowing that you're coming from this God mode
We
place.
both got text just now. We haven't gotten text this whole time.
That's
We both
crazy.
got notifications. Anyway, continue.
So I think we're off. We're off to the races. I think we
Yes.
started something that's pretty cool.
I'll tell you something that's funny. You said, oh, I've been authentic the whole time. And I was going to joke around and say, that's because we never started. And yet we're done. How's that possible?
Yeah, we're done. I don't know. Yeah, yes, you're the man. That's why.
So I'll tell you what, if you want to do another one of these for you, I'm super down. I would like to, this would be mine. This, what we just did is so my podcast. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
if you want, I will totally have another conversation with you if you want to do it for yours. You can also use this one for yours. I don't know if that's what you want.
Yeah, I could.
But,
I love it.
yeah,
I love it.
this one's ready for me. This one's ready for shipping. I can ship this.
Yes,
Okay.
Noah. And look, we didn't really have all the fancy gear. We just did it.
No, we did not. I'm really hoping these AirPods did their job. Really hoping.
I think they did.
I think they did too. You hear me fine, right?
I totally hear you fine. And yeah, I think it's.
And you know what? It has a charming episode 1 character to it. You know what I mean? That's really the good news.
Episode 1. I am grateful to be part of your episode 1.
Why, thank you. The one.
The one.
The one. Neo.
The one. Neo.
It's an anagram. Yeah, exactly. Yes. You see, now the robot makes a lot of fun connections. Now I still got the robot. I'm just also alive now. You know what I mean? So
we need the robot. Just know we need the robot. Okay, don't get rid of that robot. Don't kill the patient.
Oh, I ain't killing the patient. This patient's more alive and well. Alive and well. Oh, the harmony. Oh, the harmony. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
This was
all
fun.
Right. Well, I'm going to stop the recording and then we can finish up our chat.
Okay.
But for everybody listening, thanks for listening. Welcome to the first episode.
Yeah.
We just let it roll. And I think we had a big value especially for any singers out there.
I think
anybody who's trying to play the game of singing, welcome to this.
God mode.
God mode indeed. All right. Love you guys. Love you, Annie. And we're gonna finish this up off screen. Hold up.
Okay, sounds good.